We want to welcome everybody to the Hoop Chat. To the Hoop Chat. Excited about this topic right here, dog. Let's go. I learned how to win in college. Process, right? Absolutely. Separate the men from the boys. It will separate the real from the fake. It will separate the committed from the uncommitted. Who really loves the game and who really don't. Your network equals your net worth. 25 years of experience. Like, oh man, yeah. Let's get to work. Let's get to work.
Oh man, let's get to work.
Let's get to work. You heard
Get
the
to work.
you heard
Love
the
it. I love it. What up, everybody, man? It's your boy, Coach Nelly, and I'm here with my counterpart, my man Mar. You already know what it is. It's another episode of the group chat. Once again, we got another good show for you guys with some good topics. And you already know, let's get to work. First and foremost, bro, how was your week, man?
Had a good week, man. Just got opportunity to catch up with some people, some friends, and have some conversations throughout the week. So those are highlights when you get back and connect with people you haven't maybe spoke to in a little bit. So
Right.
And other than that, man, things is good. No complaints here.
Good, bro. Good, man. Week been really stressful, man. And one thing I could say, right, like it has definitely been a very eye-opening week for me. But the one thing that I have, and I needed to be reminded of this, never forget who you are.
Word.
Never forget who you are, right? No matter what, never forget who you are. So, yeah, man. Quick shout out, man. I just want to shout out one of my own, Ezekiel Saab, man. He was picked to play in the Fall League All-Star game, man. Super proud of this kid. So just want to give him a quick shout out. And I know he's going to go out and represent and ball out today, man. So let's get into it, brother.
Yes, sir. What we got? Where we at first? What we talking about?
I like this topic right here. It's a very good one right here, man. What is more important, skill or athleticism?
Man, Dan, that's tough because I guess it all depends on what game you're playing. The significance of either or, but since this the hoop chat and we talking about hoops, I'm gonna keep it strictly basketball. I'm gonna say that skill is more important. Obviously, it's the marriage of both, but we're talking about what's more important. I'm gonna take skill because if you just have if you understood and developed the skills that's needed in order to perform good in the game of basketball, I think that's just more valuable than the pure athleticism that you have to jump, outrun, be bigger, faster, and stronger than your counterparts. So I think that that's more important, just having the skill.
I really was gonna try to take the other side of this and take the athleticism side, but it's just I can't. I really can't. It just can't because at some point that goes away, right? So skill's huge, man. Because if you look at guys in NBA history, a guy like John Stockton, right? Not a super athletic guy. He didn't rely on his athleticism to get by, but he used, skill, and he honed a certain skill set that able him to be a great point guard, right? I mean, even guys like Steve Nash, like they're not the most athletic guy, but when you look at them on the skill level, they are very skilled,
Right.
I mean, even a guy like Steve Nash, who still works with guys in the NBA on skill, right? So it's huge, man, because I think when you work on your skill set and you continue to get better, that's something that can't be taken away. It can never be taken away. Athleticism comes and go due to age, due to injury. even the greats, if you look at Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, as they got later on in their career, it wasn't the high flying guys we were used to seeing when they were younger, right? They relied more on the polished part of their games, and they continue to work on that. And I think with the whole skill thing too is just like you open up other avenues for yourself, right? You can open up different aspects of your game doing skill stuff, right? And this allows you to expand your game, you know. And you said it. It is a perfect marriage of two. It's perfect, right? But one's going to decrease over time, so the other one can compensate for that and pull it up, you know, and make it more on an even level no matter what. Because, you know, again, skill can't be taken away from you. So, yeah, man, skill is super important, man. And for you, all you young players out there, let's make this clear too. You have to have a foundation of skill. You just can't skip steps, right? You can't say I want to start working on step back jump shots if you don't know how the proper footwork into catching into a jump shot, right? So understand that there's a process with this working on your skill and building that foundation from the basic fundamentals on up, and making sure that you stay polished on those fundamentals, so the other aspects and the other parts of your game can grow.
No doubt, man. I mean, there's nothing else that can be said about it. You know, I always say skills create longevity. So
right.
Wait for a long time, you know, you develop the skills. You know, like you said, athleticism is gonna go, and there's always gonna be somebody bigger, faster, and stronger. So in order to compete, you got to just have the ability to play at certain things. And even in basketball now, you don't necessarily have to be skilled in every single category in order to be effective. You know what I'm saying? That becomes about the mind and understanding how to play the game and apply those skills. But skills overall are just going to give you that opportunity to play longer. So
absolutely.
Ain't spending time on that, huh?
Nah, but you know what? Like, I mean, like yesterday, I was watching. They were doing like it was like a pre-draft thing on NBA TV, and what they were doing were they were going and asking each college coach to talk about their player, which was really dope to see what these coaches had to say about these guys. And this is what they were talking about. It was either they were talking about how athletic the player was, right? And he's going to be able to be an impact because of his athleticism. Or it was, listen, this guy's not a super athlete, but this guy's very skilled. Very skilled. And then you have your two where you have the ones that it's both. Yeah, like he's super athletic and he's super skilled. He just needs to continue to learn and, you know, and expand his IQ and continue to work, you know. So, I mean, these are the two things that they're talking about on guys on the highest level. So,
yeah, man.
That was pretty dope, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So continue on kind of on that path and that mind frame, right? What does dedication mean to you?
Man, that's a fully loaded question. You know what I mean? But I think that just to kind of delve on the surface, I think it's about showing up. You know, I think it's about repetitive action. You know, I think that whatever it is, you know, I'm just a firm believer in making sure that you're there, making sure that you're on time, make sure that every day you're where you're supposed to be and you're putting that time into whatever it is that you're doing. And it doesn't have to have a designated time. It can be any given point in time that you decide, but you just put time into whatever it is that you say you want to do.
Nice. And, you know, like something that goes with that with me is the word commitment, right? When you want to be dedicated to something, like you're going to be committed to it. And dedication, man, like it means you're definitely giving everything that you got. You're invested, right? You're giving everything to whatever it is. It don't have to be basketball, but dedication to life goals in general is huge, man. If you want to be successful, you don't hear anybody in this world not use the word dedication in some form when they're talking about their success, right? So I like how you said that. It means showing up and showing up every day, not taking days off, not taking plays off, not picking and choosing when you want to be when you want to be dedicated because it suits and it's comfortable and it's easy for you. It's being dedicated all the time. And that's when you see growth. That's when you start to see success. It's just the work, they say when you're prepared or preparation meets opportunity, right? That's where success happens. So you got to be dedicated,
Right.
You hear people often talk about the process is more important than the prize. The process is the dedication, and that's where you grow. That's where growth is. That's where you find out who you are. You'll see what your character is made of. And see if you really want to do this, So dedication, man. Be dedicated in everything that you guys choose to do.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely agree with that. I mean, when it comes down to is just dedication is merely like, you have I think it's a mindset. I just think the body follows the mind. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if the mind is fixated on being somewhere and they're committed to that thing, like you said, that's a powerful word in and of itself, commitment. But, I think that dedication is something that drives you with an intrinsic feel. You know what I mean? It's something in here, in your heart, in your mind that, has you committed to doing that. So you can't be dedicated to something if you take time away from it. Like, and what I mean by that is not time away from it because you've been exposed to it for such a significant amount of time and you just taking a break to recuperate. I'm talking about people who are seasonal athletes that don't work on anything outside of that season. So plenty of high school players, and this is who I'm talking to, the youth players and the high school players, obviously for me, I believe as a youth, you should definitely play as many sports as possible. So it's most likely you're not going to be putting extra time into a solo sport if you're playing baseball, football, soccer, lacrosse, whatever it is, you know what I mean? And you're in these different seasons. But, as you get a little bit older, and particularly in high school, when you most likely have made a decision on which sports you're going to play, you can't just wait for basketball season and think that the practice during basketball season is going to help you get better for the game that you have to play. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
It's something that you have to, and especially with something like basketball, which is the cheapest sport to really play. And most of the time, your neighborhood has provided some type of area for you to go play basketball. They put some courts or something like that. So it's like you have to have that. All right, I'm going to go to the basketball court. Maybe you don't necessarily know what you're going to do or what you're going to work on, but every day you find yourself at that court, I would consider you pretty dedicated to wanting to get better. You may not always know, you know what I'm saying? And it's not always kids' fault, but the kids who are showing up that, are always at the court, their parents know this is where my kid is going to be. That's the kid that you want to have, because all you have to do is put the things around that person to help them develop. They're already there because they show up. They're at the court. They may not know what to do when they get there, but every single day they're spending 2-3 hours at that court. Obviously they're dedicated in some form or fashion to getting better, and that's what it comes down to.
Right. I want to say this too, man. Just because you're dedicated, and listen, I see a lot of kids that really do work, right? And they're dedicated to the process of getting better. But I need you guys to understand, and again, really focusing on the high school athletes. You don't get to determine when the opportunity or chance to show your dedication. You don't get that. You don't get to choose that. Word. So don't get discouraged, right? Don't get discouraged when things aren't panning out the way you want it. Right. Just continue to work, because at some point, again, the opportunity will present itself.
Sure.
And you have to be ready.
Word.
So you don't control when that happens.
Right.
You just control when and how often you dedicate yourself to your craft.
Right. And I mean, we kind of, you just keep going to that next level. High school now, but for real, for these high school players, man, it's like you also can't get discouraged because you put a certain amount of time into a specific skill and it's not mastered, you have to continue. Basketball is one of those things, in particular, when it comes to your craft, you got to put a significant amount of reps and time into whatever skill set that is just to get this much better.
Right.
You could have spent the whole summer working on, your one dribble pull up. And here it is, October, November, and you're like, yo, I'm still not knocking them down like I'm supposed to be. Like, I believe I'm knocking them down. It's like that work benefits and shows if you come in as a freshman and that was your mindset. Now, guess what? Your sophomore year, you're going to improve as a shooter because you put that in, and it takes time to catch up. You know what I mean? It's not just, it's a constant deposit. That's how I talk about it. Really is depositing money into the bank. So every time every time you're shooting shots, every time you're working on your form shooting, you're working on your ball handling, you're depositing more money into that bank. You feel me? And what happens when you do that with that larger investment? What happens? You got the opportunity at reward. You feel what I'm saying? And that reward is being able to showcase that on the court in the game scenario and situation. You feel what I'm saying? And succeed. But at the end of the day, like you said, even if you're not in a position of being a starter or even a kid who's have a significant role on the team, a coach can't control how much you practice. It's impossible for that. Like, it's like, yo, I got to keep working and keep practicing and getting better. You feel what I'm saying? Because that playing time, especially if you wanted them 8, 9, 10, you about to get this your leash right here. So you get in the game and you miss that layup underneath when it's a wide open layup. You go ahead and position and blow a wide open layup, or we get a steal and then you turn it right back over. Go ahead and do it because you're coming out of the game. This is your leash. So you got to do positive things. So I'm gonna just say this real quick before you can say whatever, we can move forward. So I had a conversation with a player, right? And I think he's mature enough to get this. So I'm speaking to him about being able to understand your role. And I don't think that coaches do a good enough job, particularly at the high school level, of making people understand how important their role is to the full function of what we're trying to do. Like, no matter how small that role is, right? So I'm trying to get this kid to understand that winning is the most important thing that guards that's what they get weighed by. Like, yo, this guard, he wins. Whatever. You see it wherever you go. James Harden and CP3 are not the same as a Kyrie. Why? Because Kyrie got a chip. He wins. You know what I mean? He won a chip, whatever. It's like, it's not saying that they're not as good. It's just saying they're not as accomplished because they don't have that under their belt. You feel what I'm saying? And that's what get, judged on, right? The value portion. How valuable is that guard? They win. You know what I mean? So I'm explaining to him that for you, you're not going to be a starter for this team. You have to get over that. So you also have to get over the fact that you think your role is in proving to the coach that you're better than this guard, is to go in the game and try to get buckets, try to go crazy and try to make this play and it's like, bro, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Before you even start, you're setting yourself up for failure. What you need to understand is you got a short leash. How do you extend that leash? When you come off the bench, if we're up 5, you judge how your performance was based on the time that you exit. So when you exit the game, if y'all down 8, you didn't perform well, you didn't do your job, you're not going to get back in the game, bro. But guess what? If you were up 5 and then you push that to 9, you push that to 11 while you're in the game, coaches look at those things and they understand that things change when I move this. When I move this piece gives me this, and the team responds, and we get positive results. And that positive result could be the reason why you get a longer leash and more meaningful games, because the coach starts to trust you more.
Right.
You understand? So it's really understanding what your role is and how you can carve out a bigger role for yourself just by maximizing the role that you get in and not trying to do too much.
Right. I mean, you keep pushing the envelope. So, I mean, but you made a great point, man. And now this is for my coaches and just being a coach, right? One of the best things that I learned is what you said of defining roles and helping kids try to see. Now, every kid's not going to buy into the role, especially at the high school level because they got so many external pieces that are in their ear. Parents, friends, you should be doing this. People they play with at the park. Oh, you be balling in the park, but you ain't. You know what I mean? So, but if trying to really define that, but help them see the bigger picture with that, right? Having younger players, especially if you could get them to understand, like, yo, you don't have to score the basketball. You just hit on that. Right. You don't have if the guy in front of you is scoring and he's doing a good job and I'm putting you in the game for him, maybe he's in foul trouble or maybe he's not playing that well or maybe he needs a breather. I don't need you to come in the game and be him.
Right.
I need you to come in the game and be whatever or whoever I said you are in the bigger picture, right? Mm-hmm. Whoever we need you to be in that bigger picture. Mm-hmm. You could come in, like you said, guards are measured by winning. Maybe you're a better defender than the guy in front of you, but because of the guy's scoring ability, he plays more. Mm-hmm. So come in. Again, you can create those opportunities for your team from your defense, right? Get a couple steals, get the ball out your hand, get it to somebody that can make a decision or can score, and be a factor that way. Right. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you this. Go ahead.
That's very important. Go ahead.
Yes. I'm gonna tell you this. Any coach will take a kid that can play defense. Any coach is going to enjoy a kid that's dedicated and is bought in onto that side of the ball. And if you really, because that's more will and effort than it is, as much skill. Yeah, there's some skill involved in playing defense and understanding angles and things like that. But, if your effort's there and you're creating opportunities for the offense from that, especially from a guard perspective, if you could get the ball and get it out quick, you did your job. If we are scoring, it doesn't have to be from you, but if we're scoring as a team, and like you said, you come in, even if the score remains around the same, you did your job. You bought the kid some time to catch a breather, and now we could rotate, or maybe you stay in the game. We make
game. Exactly.
Right? You talked about it. The leash. You want to extend your leash, do the positive things. Now your leash goes like this. Right. And again, it's gradual. It's not going to be, yo, I'm here, and coach is going to say, yo, I got the green light to do whatever I want. No. Right. You might get 5 minutes a game, and your leash might extend to 7. Who knows? You know what I mean? But now in those 7 minutes, you're able to give a little bit more.
Exactly.
So, yeah, man. Yeah. So just to keep moving forward, and again, it kind of ties into everything that we're talking about. Is what is confidence? What does confidence mean to you? And just on the lines of the skill, the dedication, you can't do any of these things if you ain't confident, right? You can't be wishy-washy and say, oh, let me see how this goes. It's not going well for me. Confidence means that no matter what's going on, the ups, the downs, right, the even kill moments, you're confident in what the outcome is going to be. You are confident in what your goals. You're confident in your goals, right? And you're confident that no matter what, you're going to achieve them. You even said it, right? I'm not knocking these jump shots down how I have in my head. Well, it's good that you have the confidence to think like that.
Right.
A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people are like, I'm not improving on my jump shot. I've been working all summer. And they give up. Right. That's a lack of confidence, right? Because really, when your confidence you'll see when your confidence kicks in. And those are going to be those moments when it ain't going right for you. And you still I'm gonna keep shooting. What do they tell shooters? Shooters shoot. It's not. Nah, keep shooting. That's a confidence thing. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Because when those moments and you start to waver, you ain't making shots. You're not going to make shots. When you start second guessing it, you're not making shots
at all.
But when you're confident in your mechanics, right, and it's regardless, make or miss, confidence is I'm gonna keep shooting, and I'm gonna keep shooting the same way I shot from the beginning, and I'm gonna continue to the end.
Right. I agree. I just when I thought about this question, right, I thought about just confidence comes from the work that you put in, and it's not an arrogance, but it's a affirmation. I believe that I've done enough that I should be successful in this situation, and I always tell kids all the time, a lot of that you can see right in your very classroom around you with your classmates, and you can understand confidence right there. The person who studied for the quiz that the teacher told you about you were gonna have at the end of the week, and you didn't do what you needed to do, you're as soon as the teacher says that there's a quiz, you're nervous. You're automatically looking around. You know that person. They looking around. They don't know what's going on, because they're not prepared. That's the anxiety. That's the nervousness. But that person that's just always just chill, like, all right, like, let me go ahead and knock this out and get this 100 or get this, 95, whatever. It's because that person put the work in. So even in a stressful moment, or what many people would be stressed about, they're still confident because of the work that they put in, and they know for sure that they've put that time in. So, for players, when you talk about shooting a basketball, that's why it's keep shooting if you're the type of player that has placed and put the time into shooting. It's just, yo, bro, just shoot the basketball. No matter what happens, you do the same thing. Be confident in those habits. It's not so much when you get to working with higher level players, it's not so much about reminding them about form as much as it is reminding them about their habits, whatever those habits are. If you see them, go or stray away from that, it's about bringing them back to the habits, and again, I believe that confidence just comes from the work that you put in, and that's being dedicated because you show up, because you know that you're there and you're putting the quality reps in and time in, and therefore that gives you the confidence to do certain things. And the best part about it as a coach watching that is watching a kid who, has worked and has put time into a certain thing, and in a game scenario or situation, they do something that is completely uncharacteristic of what they may have done prior to or years before. And that's comes from the confidence. That kid may catch the ball on the wing in a 2-3 and just pull up and shoot. Well, in his training, that's what he's experienced to work on that shot. So it becomes a matter of just, complete recognition of the situation, and they're following suit and they're successful in that. And watching that, knowing that that person has worked diligently on that aspect of their game, and they're not thinking about it because they're confident.
Right. Is it safe to say that we could use another word and say faith?
Say that again.
I said, do you think we could use another word for confidence and use the word faith and belief?
Yeah. No doubt. I think that those two words are just like synonymous with one another. I just think that when you talk about faith, then it winds up somehow being convoluted to like religion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's somehow, some way somebody attaches that. But I just think that, the process of religion does teach us to walk by faith. You know what I mean? And
right.
That's basically what it is. If you're a good person and you're doing the right things, you know what I mean? You believe.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just what it is. You know what I mean? So
great points, man. Some really good points. Boom. How does your response to failures experienced on the court translate to how you respond to failures experienced in life?
Man, that's a fully loaded joint right there. I think that if I hearken back,
what are we in biblical days, bro? Hearken?
I know that word is ridiculous. That word is nuts. Hearken.
Hearken thou hearts.
But like, on a serious note though, but like, man, I think that if I think back to like playing experiences and how like I've been able to attach failures from those experiences and translate them into life, and just knowing that like I was a very like sore loser type of person, and if things didn't go my way, I was very emotional about those things that didn't go my way. But I think that that comes from me being a spoiled younger child, a younger sibling, and being able to get whatever I want. So I know that, again, thinking back, that was my approach towards sports. You know what I mean? Was like, it's supposed to go my way. I'm supposed to be the guy. I'm supposed to do all the right things. And when it doesn't, and you fail, I know I was very immature younger. You know what I mean? And losing games, it wasn't about like, it was like we suck and I just was a bad loser. You know what I mean? I think that was my response mechanism as a kid, just very immature to things. I think that as I grew a little bit older and playing basketball again and going through not being the best player and not always succeeding all the time, I think I learned a little bit about having thicker skin and having to respond a little bit more. And I think part of that too is not only just playing sports, but also watching sports and seeing how certain athletes respond to things. And I think that helped me, grow a little bit more, particularly in the game of basketball as a youngin, because I got the opportunity to watch Jordan and you would hear about, the different things that he was undergoing. And in my household, just big Jordan fans, but more so talked about that killer instinct and that mental toughness, and those kind of were things that were kind of emphasized. Like, yo, they were down 6 and he did this and he brought them back and he did this and he put the team on his back. And it's like, okay, all right. I think once I got to high school, I wasn't really coached in high school. You know what I mean? And once I got to college, it became, damn, this is real. Like, I really have failed in certain areas where dudes are just better than me. You know what I mean? And I think that that's where I learned how to develop a response mechanism of, okay, I'm going back to the drawing board. I'm going to get better. Self-reflection, really being honest, holding myself accountable. And I see that that's what I started to do in my life, holding myself accountable for getting the things that I need to get done, being about my business. Thinking, okay, I write a paper. I think that was good. I submit it. Teacher's like, nah, that's whack. It's like, yeah, I could be in my feelings about it, but I got to respond to that. I got to go back to the drawing board. You know what I mean? I got to look that over. You know what I mean? It's like demanding the excellence of yourself, no matter what the situation is. And I think that in and of itself, to just kind of be completely transparent, like, the biggest, experience in my life that, was pretty, I guess, traumatic, is losing my mom and learning how to deal with that. You know what I mean? Learning that basketball was enabled me to kind of deal with that. Again, watching certain people like Jordan having that relationship with his father and then losing that person, and how do you respond to that? Do you throw your hands up and just say, it's over, like forget it, life doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Or do you really, carry that person's legacy on and you try to be the championship version of yourself daily for in honor of that particular person, no matter what, never feeling sorry for yourself, never wanting anyone to feel sorry for you, you know what I mean? And just pushing forward. So.
Right. Good points, bro. I'm going to start with this story, right? So freshman year in college, we were playing, what's the name of that school? Man, I just drew a blank. St. Anselm's, sorry.
Okay.
St. Anselm's, we're in the Sweet 16, right? And we're down 1 with, it might have been 16, maybe a little bit less than 16 seconds left. Now, my point guard, who my freshman year was a junior, who was going to be the following year the National Player of the Year, just to give you how good this kid is, right? So he been balling all game, and he penetrates, and of course everybody collapses. So he kicks to me wide open in the corner, and I'm a freshman. For me at this point, this is like the biggest shot in my career, and shoot wide open. Ball literally does one of those. The ball's like going in, and it goes out, right? And we end up losing that game, I think by 4 or whatever. And just remember from a basketball experience, just like crying my eyes out. Like I really felt like I let my team down. I really felt like, this was my moment and I didn't succeed. You know what I mean? And from that failure, just experiencing that feeling, the feeling of defeat, the feeling of I let somebody down, the feeling I didn't do my job, right? Was that feeling like to this day still sticks with me. And I don't want to ever feel that feeling again. So it has allowed me to learn, right, what it means. Like from that moment on, like even for my point guard to come to me after the game, like, yo, you don't think like I'll pass you that shot. I'll give you that shot 1,000 times, regardless of the outcome, because I know you could shoot the basketball. It was a reason why I kicked the ball to you. You know what I mean? And for somebody like that to come to me and be like, yo, they have faith, right? Here's that faith word. Have faith in me. It made me like really like, yo, get to work. You know how we say in the beginning, let's get to work. Like, let's get to work. Like, let's really peel back the layers of what it means to be dedicated, right? Let's peel back those layers of really what it means to really go at something with your all. And that moment allowed me to like really focus on life, not just basketball, but to start to go hard in life, to start to really be committed to what I wanted from life, right? Where I wanted my life to go. And that came from a failure. Like you, man, like for me, I lost my mom at an early age, and just going through that moment, that moment in life, like basketball for me was a refuge. It taught me how to cope. It taught me like how to release and not build up those negative emotions all the time and just go out and be myself. And I didn't have a care in the world.
Right.
You learn, especially when you're on specific teams, what brotherhood means. You learn how to work in a team atmosphere. You learn to be a piece of a cog. And at the same time, if you're really good, you learn how to lead, right? So, I mean, there's so many lessons, and a lot of it does come from the failures of the game, right? Everybody often says, like, what you learn on the court, you can translate to life. Like, you hear a lot of these great people talk like, yo, I've learned a lot from the game. Whatever sport they play, I've learned a lot from the game, life lessons.
Right.
And it's true.
Yeah,
and
sure.
There's certain things that me and you could relate on because we played a sport. We played at a high level that we can't relate to another person that's never played basketball.
Right.
There's a certain brotherhood that we have from that. There's a certain relation that we have from that, right? So, but failures are important, man. And just anything, like, and I'm gonna keep it on hoops now, but like you have to go to those failures on the court. You have to, because if you ain't never experienced that, like you ain't never gonna grow. You're gonna be the same player always.
No
You're
question.
never gonna be able to look back and reflect on those moments and be like, I gotta grow from this.
Right.
Right. You know, everybody talks about with MJ, and you know, we hear this debate, who's the GOAT and all that, and he didn't win his first 7 years in the league, and he had to go through that. He had to get virtually and physically beat up. He had to get beat up, right, in order to understand what it took to win, right? He wanted to obtain to be on that status that he's achieved, right? He had to go through the process of learning.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't coming in and trying to score 40 and 50 and 60. It's not working. Yeah, I'm winning some games, but I'm not obtaining what that higher goal is, right? I want that trophy, right? So he had to learn. He had to learn what it meant to take himself and who he was and put it into a team and how he was going to lead the win, right? So,
and I don't think he's given enough credit for that. I think that people think that it's about him uniting with Scottie Pippen and then them going on. But I believe that is a major point, is just him recognizing that, yo, I can either be someone who leads this. I might be able to outscore Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and have all the scoring titles for my entire career and have all the defensive titles and have all of the highest PER ever. But if I don't get that Larry O'Brien, you know what I mean, then I'm not the best. You know what I mean? And that's crazy.
I mean, and this is just peeling back more layers as we continue to go. But I mean, just because you're talented doesn't mean you're going to win. Just because you have a good team, it doesn't mean that you're going to win. You have to make it work. And for, you know, like you said, he's not giving enough credit, because here is, I mean, and we're always going to argue, so arguably the greatest player to ever play the game, right? That man had to find a way to make it so that his teammates felt like they could succeed to win. That even though as great as he was, they felt like they were part of the greatness, You understand? And that's not easy to do. We've seen a lot of players that have come and gone that can't do that. No matter how talented and how good and they're this and that, they can't win. And when I say win the big one,
and
right?
Dominate,
right? And dominate. I mean, looking at a guy like Kobe, taking his greatness and learning how to win with different people. He won 3 with Shaq. I got to find out how we're going to make this work. And then, right, he went through that drought. Like, for him, it's reversed. He was experienced the championships early in his career because he was paired. And then it was like, well, you're going to leave? Fine, you could leave, Shaq. Well, I'm going to do it my way. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to score, and I'm going to show you how talented and how good I am, right?
And he held him hostage. He was like, yo, I want that trade.
I'm out. Get me out of here.
Right? All of a sudden, here comes Paul Gasol.
Right. Right. So, yeah, man. It's definitely, you have to go through failures in life. Nothing's easy. Those trials and tribulations are part of the process of being successful or being great because they're learning points. Yeah. They're definitely learning points.
I think that this topic is extremely important for really everyone to take an opportunity right now to look at that question and think about where you are currently in your life, and how have you responded to different things that may be perceived as failures to you that you've experienced in life. And again, just us having the opportunity to be blessed by God to continue to play basketball and that be, again, the area of refuge, sanctuary. You know what I'm saying? A lot of therapy here in that net. A lot of therapy just dribbling a basketball. A lot of therapy just by yourself in your thoughts. But somehow, some way, for that time that you're there, you're not thinking about anything else in the world other than what you're doing at that current moment. You know what I mean? And I'm always forever indebted to the game of basketball and God for that opportunity, because I don't know, different things that have transpired. I don't know where I would be if I didn't have that opportunity, that outlet for myself. You feel me?
Absolutely. Facts, bro. Facts. How important are the people you surround yourself with?
Well, man, that age-old saying, man. Look at the you're the sum of the friends that you have around you, or whatever that is. I just think that that the people that surround you change, and I think one of the things that I've become a little bit more comfortable with and accepting, because I'm not really like a person, I may know a lot of people, but I don't necessarily consider a lot of people friends. I have a pretty smaller group of people. I mean, and for that, I say that because for the most part, everyone that I have around me, I've known for at least 10 to 15 years, and we've had different, experiences with one another that create the real friendship. Life has changed in 15 years for all of us.
Absolutely.
Being basically young teenagers or young men to, grown men. So I think that the thing is, I had to know new friends mentality and just kind of just dealing with those people. But I've learned that in order for you to grow, you have to surround yourself with the right people. And sometimes you have to change who you are in order for you to accept that the group that has surrounded you is beneficial to you, and those faces may have changed, and some seats may have been taken that wasn't once taken, or occupied by somebody else. And that's okay, because it really is about where you are and where you're trying to be, and how the people around you can help you do that. And I think that athletes in particular, I think for everybody universally, but I think it's crucial for athletes, particularly, again, we're talking about high school and college athletes that, are younger and are impressionable and kind of make certain decisions based off of certain things, and they're young. So, they not necessarily look at all the ramifications and all the consequences. They may see some of them, but they don't see all of them. And they make certain decisions because of the people that they have around them. And the people that you have around you in this world, in this life, unfortunately, could get you killed. but they also can protect you, from some of the ills of the world, So you have to really be really strict, I guess, about who you let in that circle, but also looking at those people and looking at how they benefit you. And that may be selfish, but you need to really think about that. Like, what is this person providing to me? What is the real value that they're providing to me? And is that positively helping me get closer to my desired goal?
Right. No, absolutely. I think for younger players and younger athletes, this is tough because you really have to be careful of who you call, especially today. Everybody used the word bro. What's up, bro, 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 bro? You have to really be careful with that because everybody doesn't have your best interest at heart.
Right.
For you younger players, you really should be surrounding yourself with people that are going to challenge you and that are going to try to help you take the next step in life. And you hit it on the head. And this is something I've learned as well, growth as a person, is your circle does change. And again, you always have to be weary of who, right? And sometimes what do they say? Wolves would disguise themselves as sheep, right? Right.
For sure.
Listen, I just learned that, right?
Right.
So
for sure.
I just learned that, right? You really have to be careful. And sometimes, somebody will act as if they're nice and got your best interest at heart. But no matter what, the people will always show their true colors. The truth will show. And that's when you start to make changes of who's around you. And you can really start to see who really cares and who really wants to help you grow, or who's just along for the ride for however long that ride is, right? You also got to surround yourself with people that are like-minded. So people who have kind of the similar goals, who are trying to be successful. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to hang out with just basketball players. And he's trying to go D1, I'm going D1. No, it doesn't mean that, right? It's the success mindset. Right. It's the mindset of wanting to be great. Like if you got a boy for you young players, like, maybe you're serious about hoops and he's serious about being a doctor, or he's serious about being a lawyer, or he wants to own his own business and he's really serious about it. The grind is the same. The work is different, but the grind is the same. So he'll be able to, keep you on your toes, like, because when you start having conversations like, yo, what up, bro? What you doing? I'm working on, I'm reading this book because I'm getting ready to do X, Y, and Z and prepare myself. What you doing? It's kind of like, oh man, like, oh well, I'm out here working on my game and trying to. Yeah. That's the grind, right? I know with our relationship, and it's kind of a competitive thing to me, and it's a good, positive, competitive thing. Like when I hit you up and you're like, oh, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, oh man, damn, he can't get one up on me. I got to do this. Oh yeah, well, you know what I mean? Like
word up,
right? It's how you pull each other up. It's a positive thing. It's like I'm surrounding with myself with somebody who wants to be successful. Word. That's what it is. Who wants me to be successful. And he's not scared to check me on when I'm not taking the steps that are needed to get there. Like, yo, you need to pick it up. All right, bro, you need to. That's surrounding yourself with good people who are like-minded or who are helping you, who want you to achieve what you want to achieve and are not just saying, yo, what's up, bro? It's deeper than that, man. So you have to be aware. Really start to be aware of who's around you. And don't be scared to cut people off, man, if they don't got the same vision as you do.
It's funny, though. It's always you got to keep this in mind, too. And I think like you hit and described something where the wolf in sheep's clothing. It's also you got to keep in mind, too, those wolves that's in sheep clothing, they want you to do well. Generally, people want you to do well. They don't want you to do better than they are. And
right.
That's one thing that you got to really be careful with is, do your friends genuinely want for you to succeed? Are they happy when good things happen to you? Or are they like, yeah, that's what's up? Or are they really like, yeah, I'm supporting, that's my boy? You know what I mean? Are they really bought into who you are and what your relationship is? And I forget what the other thing is that I was going to say. Damn, I forgot what I was going to say. But I think it's just also like really important to make sure that those people who are around you, they genuinely want for you to succeed. They genuinely
Right.
want for you to make it. They genuinely that's what I was gonna say. Like with the people that change around your circle, like if you got a boy who loved to play video games and that's what he wanted to do, he loved to play video games, right? You know he your boy if he'll rebound shots for you. Like if you like, yo, I gotta get these shots up, and you really ask him like, yo, bro, can you like rebound for me? And they're like, all right, I'll do it. That's your boy, bro. Because he has no vested interest in doing that at all. He has no reason why he wants to be out there other than to try to help you.
Right.
That's where you know that that's a friend.
Right.
And that friend don't gotta be looking like what everybody else or what people think, because I think people do that too. They pick friends based on what they look like or their popularity or whatever it may be. It's like, and that's at every level. I'm speaking to adults too. Adults do it too. They pick people to put themselves around because they think it's a good look for them, and those people ain't necessarily the right people around for them. You know?
Right.
So
that's a good point. That's a really good point. Nah, absolutely. What we got next, man? Ha ha ha.
Here we go. Let me take a look.
I think we're at our players' points.
Oh wow. Oh yeah. This is a good one. I mean, jump in. You jump in first, and then I'll go ahead.
This is our segment, man, where we really give out some pointers for you basketball players out there, you so-called hoopers.
Yeah.
This is a good one, man. Be a forever learner. I mean, and honestly, this ain't just for players. This is for coaches. This is for anybody.
Right.
If you want to continue to grow, you can't have the mindset that you know it all.
No good.
Bottom line. If you listen to any great player, any successful person talk, they talk about how they're always learning, right? I know for me, just being a huge Kobe Bryant fan and really investing into his process and learning why he was so great and watching videos and reading books, one thing that he was really keen on was he always wanted to learn and for him, it was from other walks and aspects of life. It wasn't just even watching the greats of basketball play. It was, why is this CEO of this company so successful? Let me go learn and talk and try to pull and get gems from him, right? If you want to be successful, that's what they say. You have to imitate the greats. So in this case, you have to find a way to continue to pull gems and learn and find somebody or something that has been successful and what makes them tick. Because, man, for me, I'm always asking questions. That's one thing that you should always do is ask questions.
All the time.
Right? All the time, and this would help you to learn, right? We don't know it all. As human beings, we're not gifted to know everything in this world. We're not gifted to know everything about every subject. It's the whole process of learning. That's why when babies come out, they don't know everything. You have to teach them, right? They have to learn. Right, I have my baby girl's almost 2. Like, I could go ask her what the I don't know what's 2 plus 2. She don't know that. She's got to learn what that is, right? She has to obtain. She has to learn. She has to always want to be learning, right? So it goes with anything, bro. Like, I just know for me, I'm always trying to learn. I'm reading books. Even when we decided to start to do this and be serious about this podcast, like really watching other podcasts, reading backstories, why they decided to do it. And it's a learning process because anybody that wants to be successful, they're going to go out and obtain the information they need to get that.
Absolutely.
And that's just telling you that they don't know. I don't know. But here's the thing. You have to break your ego down and say, I don't know something. I can be in a situation and I just don't know. And it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Right. I think a lot of people, they can't do that. And they want to be the one to have the information. And they're just, and that's when you get a lot of misinformation being put out because they're just scared to go out and find or ask questions because they don't want to look like a chump or stupid or dumb, whatever the case may be. you know, when you're growing up, everybody says the most stupid question is the one that's not asked.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So uh, continue to learn, continue to ask questions. It's okay if you don't know something, but don't be satisfied with not knowing it. Go out and try to find it, and that you'll be surprised once you start retaining that information and getting that information, how you start to grow, because you get the footsteps and you got the pieces to the puzzle, and things start to come together, and then that should make you want to go out and get more.
Right. No doubt. No doubt. I mean, again, this is a translatable thing to life, like you said earlier. But you know, as far as the game is concerned, I know someone like me is. I have to not only know what it is, I want to know why it is, how it is. You know what I mean? And I just think that the that keeps the thing fun, because you're always learning something else new. So it's something else interesting or intriguing, or you know what I mean, about it. And I just think that that's something that just helps you just grow so much, is your willingness to want to learn, not necessarily how much you already know, because people have a whole lot of knowledge, you know, because they know things, but it's like you can't compare that to the thought of like what I don't know.
Right.
I know I don't know as much as is out here, so why not try to get as much of it in as I can? You know what I mean? Right. And when it comes to basketball, like you said, you know, it's fascinating how things emerge in sports, period. And I think that is it's a microcosm again of like our society, you know. So it's like small ball, you know, 3-point shooting, spacing the floor has become a premium in the NBA, so much so that like they had to create a word. Nobody was using positionless basketball like a short 7 years ago. You know, nobody was really using that word. It's a very popular word now, and it's, you know, primarily because somebody discovered, you know, okay, if I implement this, I can manipulate the game to change how it's being played in my favor. That's by being a learner. Like that's by being someone who's figuring out these inside things about whatever's transpiring and learning, okay, I can do this, I can do that, I can manipulate this situation because now I've learned what, you know what I mean, goes into that situation, you know? So it's just, I think it's a great thing about life. And I just think if you have a forever learning mentality, there's always something to do every day. You know, like every day you wake up, you should be waking up thinking about shit. What do I get to learn today? You know what I mean? I mean, you got freaking Google now. Like you can just, whatever you thinking about. There's somebody who's writing an article on it. There's some type of scientific study being done on it. It's like
you can find whatever you want instantaneously,
bro. You know? So I mean, I think that's one of the more enriching things that life has given us, is that opportunity to be able to learn stuff that we did.
Word up. And on the basketball tip, right? This is for you players out there. This is how you expand your game right here, right? Because again, you don't know enough to help yourself continue to grow as a basketball player. Mm-hmm. So it's okay to reach out to trainers, right, to help you work on your game, right? It's okay. It's okay to reach out to coaches and ask questions. Learn from film. Go back and watch film, right? This is a point that I hit for all my players. Go back. If you want to learn the offense, go back and watch the sets that we run, right? And then watch the ones that are successful and write down why and why it did not, and watch the ones that didn't work out and write down why and why not, right? And you'll start to learn. And then if you can visualize, if you can see it, if you see it in front of you, now you can take it to the basketball court, and that visualization will be in your head, right? And now you can start to really see in live, right? Live movement. I know why it's not going to work on that side. Or when we run it on this side, you know what? We don't space right. And that one screen's not set right. That's why we can't get to that layer. That's how you continue to get better. That's how you learn, right? I often tell players, when you watch film, and I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, don't watch it to watch the oohs and ah plays.
Right.
Watch it to see the mistakes.
Mhm.
Watch to see the moments you weren't successful as an individual. So when those moments come up again, like you're a little bit more prepared. That again, that's how you get better.
Right.
You know, the biggest thing that I see with people who think they know it all, right? And yeah, you might be successful, but you might be successful in one area.
Right.
And I think people think because I'm successful in one area, I'm a know-it-all. I
Right.
got it all set. And they can't chop their ego down to say, yeah, you might be successful in this one specific subject, but guess what? This subject over here don't got nothing to do with that one.
Right.
And you have to be okay to say, well, I'm not successful right now.
Right.
You have to be able to come off your pedestal.
Right.
So
No
for you players out there, stay humble. I think this goes into for being a forever learner is to really be humble, continue to seek knowledge, continue wanting to grow, it ties into everything we've talked about today. Continue to be dedicated, because if you're dedicated, you're going to want to learn. If you have confidence in that, you're going to want to learn. If you're surrounding yourself with the right people, you're going to want to learn, right? If you've experienced failures, you're going to want to learn from those failures. I mean, everything that we've talked about points to this right here.
Right. I think just to kind of piggyback and just kind of break it down into some sections for younger players. And if you think about sports, period, it's these three things. It's auditory. So, in practice, you got to listen. You got to be able to listen to your teammates. You got to be able to listen to your coach. You got to listen, not hear, but listen. So listening is taking the time to thoroughly understand what's being said, the sound that you're hearing. Then is visual. So that's why you have to watch film, because you need the visual component. You can't just have the auditory component. Somebody can't just be talking to you about it. You got to see it. So once you see it, right, now it's got to be kinesthetic. You got to be doing it. That's why your coaches have you go through your plays 5-on-0, because kinesthetically you need to go through it physically. So you're marrying all three of those together. And the better players, the people who are forever learners, know that I got to tap in on all three levels. I got to tap in on all three levels to push myself to my full potential. So when you look at someone like Kobe, or you hear Peyton Manning, or you hear these guys go into detail, the show was just created based upon those guys' ability to analyze the visual, analyze film, analyze these things, right? And you always hear, look, your most important leaders for the most part are great communicators. All right.
Right.
About the breakdown with the Clippers and the fact that they don't have a good communicator that's their best player, being Kawhi Leonard. But if you look at like Tom Brady, if you look at Peyton Manning, you look at Michael Jordan, and I'm just grabbing these polarizing superstars, but they all have these same streamlined things, in common. It's their ability to communicate. They talk effectively. They talk, if you're talking about Kobe, he's going to say it how it is. And he's going to hold you accountable for these things. So communication is very important. So they got the auditory aspect. They know how to communicate. Now they got the visual aspect, because they spend tremendous amount of time watching film, seeing how to dissect things, seeing about habits, seeing a tendency, seeing what you do, what you don't do, learning how to strategize against those things. And then kinesthetically, spending that time, those hours of sweat equity in the gym, working on those particular skills. On the field, look at what Tom Brady did when he got to Tampa Bay. I mean, the man worked out during COVID. They're kicking him out when he's just trying to go to a field somewhere and throw the football. That's the kinesthetic component. I got to be throwing. I got to be working on these throws. I got to work on my touch with this and that. I've seen it. Therefore, while me watching film, I want to be able to execute it physically. So those are the things that you got to tap in on. And those are the three levels that I believe, are the components for a basketball player when it comes to forever learning. Now, I'm sure you could probably apply that to other things, you know what I mean? But I'm sure there's other things that you don't really need a kinesthetic component, you know what I mean? But that I think are the three essential areas for a basketball player when it comes to the development of you learning how to play the game, understand the game, and execute at a high level.
Facts.
You heard me.
All right, man. We got what it is.
Yes, sir.
Running to the 6 with my whoa.
Word.
I got a funny one for you guys today, man. Nothing to do with sports or anything. Just some dumb shit I did as a high school kid. So in high school, a friend of mine made these counterfeit $1 bills, right? And crazy part about it was it ain't look nothing like no $1 bill at all. Like the color was off, right? Like the picture was like a little bit bigger than what it would be on a $1 bill.
Right. Easily noticeable. Easily.
Right. So the paper didn't feel the same. Hey, but he tried. He tried. he did it on his computer. I mean, whatever. So he like, yo, I'm gonna try to buy some lunch with this. I'm like, bruh, like, I don't know. You go ahead. So he go up to the lunch line and he come back with some lunch. I'm like, damn. It worked. It worked. It came back with some lunch, and I'm like, oh, it worked. So the next day, like, I guess he went home and he worked on the dollar bill some more, and he like kind of made it look more like a $1 bill. So what do you think I did? Like, oh man, yo, let me get a couple of them dollars. Let me get $2, right? So I go up and I buy some. It worked. I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah, we get lunch. We good over here. We getting lunch over here. So he continued to I guess perfect it, and he started like making a bunch of $1 bills and eating lunch for a week. Eating lunch for a week, right? And like now it's like he's giving it out to people at the lunch table and like that. So I remember specifically, bro, I'm home one day right after school and my doorbell ring. Ding dong. And I'm like, you know, when you're in high school, you know who to open the door for and who not to open the door for, right?
No
I see these two dudes out there, straight suits on, suited up.
On some Men in Black shit.
Men in Black, suited up. And I'm like, my first thought was, there's some Jehovah's Witness. Like, I ain't answering the door. You know what I mean? I'm good. Yeah. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Oh, they ain't going away, bro. Mm-hmm. So my stepmom opens the door. She goes to the door. She like, who that? I'm like, I don't know these people. They out here in suits. I think they some Jehovah's Witness. Go ahead, you could deal with it. So I go upstairs. Boom. She opens the door and she's talking to him, and I hear that, you know, when you hear your name called and you know that tone. You did some shit. I'm like, but I can't think about what I did. Like, so they come and, you know, they're at the door and they want to talk to me, and I see in their hand they got these $1 bills. And they like, you know, it was the feds. This is the FBI now, like, you know, and they start asking questions and things like that. And I'm just like, look, I don't know. Yeah. Well, they were like, hey, listen, man, we know he was making these $1 bills. We want to know, do you have any of them? I'm like, nah, I don't have any of them. Just I bought lunch with them and that's it, you know? And, you know, and that was it. They was just, it really wasn't nothing that came out of it. Especially because he had made $1 bills with like fake faces on it as well. So that kind of saved him, you know, as he was just a kid.
He really was.
Right. He was just a kid that was joking around and like nothing came out of it. But just like, yo, the feds came knocking on my door in high school. Like,
that's wild.
Yeah, bro.
That is nuts.
That is like, damn, they came. Like, you know.
He said, I thought they were Jehovah's Witnesses. I ain't opening the door for them.
Nah, but when that doorbell kept ringing and they not going anywhere, I'm just like, oh, man. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
They know you, man. You ain't even peep. They saw you when you came home.
They definitely did. They definitely followed me. And he home now. But, nah, they were literally at the crib for like 5 minutes. Nobody got in trouble from it. It was kind of like, yo, do you know what this could lead to? type. You know what you really could get in trouble for doing stuff like this. You know, were you making any? Nah, I don't do that. I was just trying to get some lunch, sir. I'm sorry. Them chocolate chip cookies were really good, so I just wanted to get some chocolate chip cookies. So that's my story from the 6.
Yo, so I got one when we was like in high school. The elementary school, we used to have like this little summer camp thing there. And so boom, we go to this summer camp or whatever there, and like they have like in the cafeteria, everybody eat or whatever, but they had like still got like the Jack and Jill ice creams or whatever, right? But they had it like where you knew it wasn't for you, so you shouldn't really be dealing with that. But it wasn't locked. So obviously you already know what we doing. So yeah.
It's not locked. Yo, it's not locked.
Yo, bruh. It was so crazy. The camp was small. It was probably like maybe like 50 kids there or whatever, right? So obviously, you know, I'm always with the kids who we would do something like, oh, we found it. We gonna hit the thing, see if it open up. Oh, it open? Oh, all right, yo, we in here. So yo, we took mad ice creams, the chocolate eclairs, all this stuff. You know, the toasted almond joints, the strawberry shortcake joints. We take them joints, we eating them or whatever. So I guess like the custodian for the school, cause you know, we kids, bro. We maybe freshmen in high school. So clearly he ain't closing it. We just leave it. Everybody just grabbing their joint and running. So it's not like who took it. We all know these kids took it. So boom, he like the custodian come in and everybody knew like soon as he came in, like everybody knew like what he was in there for. Nobody wanted to say nothing or whatever. So boom, we get the dude come to call us in or whatever for the camp, have everybody sit down, and he was just like, yo, y'all, you know, we know you kids were stealing. We got cameras and all of this stuff like that. So one by one, bro, everybody just like, who took one? Who took this? Like, so I'm just looking around. I ain't saying nothing.
They ain't got me on camera.
Your word out. They got your boy on camera. Like, so camp director is like, all right, yo, like all y'all gotta sit in the bleachers, can't play or whatever like that. So I'm playing the whole time or whatever. So yo, after camp was over, like towards the end of camp, we call us in again. He's like, so all those people that was sitting in the bleachers, like obviously, you know, parents coming to pick you up. So it's like all the kids' parents is walking into the gym and stuff like that. So he got everybody sitting in the bleachers, right? Bruh. Tells everybody's parents what, you know, oh, yo, these kids who were sitting in the bleachers were the kids who stole ice cream and all of this shit like that or whatever, right? So, boom, like, like right towards the end, like right when, like, boom, it's about to be over, all this stuff, yo, why three of them say, yo, Lamar's taking it too? I'm like, yo, I wasn't gonna say nothing. I'm straight. I'm like,
I'm out here playing. Leave me alone.
Yeah, yo, snitched on me, bro. And I know who y'all are. I ain't gonna say no names. I remember y'all. I know y'all is grown men now, bro. You ain't have to snitch on me like that. You got caught, not me. That was wild, man.
That's funny, man. Things we do when we're young, bro.
Yeah. Now think about that. We both stole something. Both was on some. You was wilding. You was on some Fed time. You was wilding.
They came to the crib, bro.
I stole some ice cream. You slid on some dollars, some counterfeit U.S. dollars, bro.
Yeah. But you know, too, like they had asked if, like, because I think like they knew we was buying like lunch in school, so I was like, nah, I just bought a cookie, you know, and like, nah, I get, you know, lunch money per week. So, you know, the fact that my parents were like, nah, we do give him money for lunch, you know, per week. So it was like, all right, well, he ain't out here just really buying lunch like that, you know. So, yeah, I don't know. Nah, that was enough, though. Like, I ain't never doing that again. Nope, I'm good. I don't want to never see y'all knocking on my door in those suits again.
Word.
So, yeah, man. Look, thank God for basketball, bro.
No question.
Thank God for basketball. Yeah, bro.
That was a good pod, man.
Yes, it was.
That was a good pod.
Yes, it was, man. We definitely love y'all. Appreciate. We've gotten some good feedback over the week, man. Just people saying some nice, generous things.
Or,
Hey, listen, like we said, if you guys have any, we find it real quick. If you guys got any questions, any topic ideas,
or
if you would like to be on the show, just DM the hoop chat. We will respond to you. We'll get back to you. As we looking to grow, man, we're just looking for new topics always. We're looking for people who want to show love. And again, like we said, soon we'll be adding guests. So if you guys would like to be involved, just DM the hoop chat. We appreciate the support and love.
right. Yeah, man. You know, we gonna continue to do this, man. Getting that dedication component. So we dedicated to trying to put out this information for you. Just to kind of add on to what he was saying. Again, you could DM the hoop chat. You could DM myself. You could also DM Coach Nelly. But make sure, man, like coaches at all levels. You know, players of all levels. You know, parents, if you want to, DM, reach out. You know what I mean? If there's some things that you would like for us to talk about, again, like you said, or you want to be on the show, you know, definitely reach out because 2021, man, we're gonna close this wild ass BS year of 2020, but it's definitely created some great things. So I'm really excited about the close of the year and the start of 2021. So and the growth of where we're trying to take things. So, you know, we definitely want your support. We appreciate your support. Make sure you check out the full episode on YouTube. We're also gonna have some clips and stuff like that out on Instagram. Make sure you follow that gram at the Hoop Chat 247. Make sure you hit that subscribe button at YouTube too, man. Merch is coming soon also for the Hoop Chat. You know what I mean? So peace and love.
Speaking of merch, man, definitely go hop on that marsbball.com. Go support my brother. It's hoodie season. Get yourself a hoodie. Get yourself warm. Support the brand. And you already know what it is, man. It's the Hoop Chat. Whatever you decide to do, please go inspire somebody else to be great.
Word.
We out.
Peace.